Hey Everest.Live, Happy New Year, and today we're going to discuss if it's ethical to climb without oxygen in today's commercial environment. It's April 14th, this is your daily dispatch from Everest.Live. So everyone, Noya Barsako Subhakamana. Today is the Nepali New Year, it's 2083. It's going to be a great year, I hope, and the climbing season also is just kicking off on an auspicious day as rope fixing teams head up to Camp 1 and Camp 2 on Annapurna after this recent storm passed, with clients and paying climbers hot on their heels. There's 27, I think, climbers on Annapurna this year, and Explorers Web did a great piece today that pointed out how of these 27 climbers, 8 of them are climbing without oxygen. While Annapurna is a lower 8,000 meter peak, it's 8,091 meters or something, this points out a trend that we're seeing across Himalayan climbing and high altitude mountaineering, which is that high altitude climbers are looking to have greater and greater challenges. Just climbing Everest, just climbing 8,000 meter peaks isn't enough. You need to now do it without oxygen, or people are pushing themselves to that end, which is an incredible physical challenge. It's something to really be proud of. But there are also some really serious ethical and philosophical sort of implications of that. The primary one of those is that, when you head up into, it's called the death zone above 8,000 meters for a reason. When you head up into that, altitude without oxygen, no matter who you are, your brain function, your cognition decreases. And it's because your brain is simply getting less oxygen. Your ability to make rational decisions, your ability to understand when it's time to turn around, your ability to participate and to look after your teammates, all of those things are undeniably limited as you start climbing these high peaks without oxygen. There was a case, I think 3 years ago now, where an Everest climber who had climbed Manaslu without oxygen, he wanted to be the first person from his country to climb Mount Everest without oxygen. So up he goes, and the Sherpa, the high altitude worker that was with him, who was carrying emergency oxygen. As the two of them approached the summit, this client became hypoxic, unable to make decisions. And one of the things that happens that's common when you're hypoxic is you also become belligerent. Nobody knows exactly what happened in this incident, but the fact of the matter is both that client and that high altitude worker, that Nepali Sherpa, they both died on Mount Everest. And it had everything to do with the fact that this client was refusing to take the emergency oxygen, which he so obviously needed. It's hard to say that that was a rational decision of his. Again, his brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. He wasn't capable of making rational decisions. But there were major, major life and death consequences because he made the choice to enter into that environment. And so that's one of the things that oxygenless climbers ethically need to weigh. They need to understand, how do I know when I don't know enough? How do I know when I need to turn around if I'm so hypoxic that I can't make that decision? How do I feel that coming? And one of the worrying trends with this sort of record chasing of people looking at climbing Everest without oxygen is that there are many climbers, including some on the mountain this year, that have climbed Everest with oxygen. Now they're going back to climb it without oxygen, and they don't have a lot of experience climbing at extreme altitudes without oxygen. They haven't gone and climbed 4 or 5 other lower 8,000 meter peaks without oxygen just to see what it's like, to make your mistakes, to understand what happens to your body. To me, it feels like ethically that should be a minimum standard before you try to climb Everest without oxygen. But of course, that's the freedom of the hills. It's the freedom of mountaineering. People are free to make their own decisions and to take risks as they see fit. The important thing is that climbers who are going up this year without oxygen have emergency plans in place. They have a strong team surrounding them, and that they are going on oxygen, emergency oxygen, well before they need it. And they're making that call conservatively because it could be another life or death situation. So let's see what happens this year. Let's have a great new year. let's hope that this climbing season doesn't give us more stories like that. And let's hope that this current ascent push on Annapurna is a really successful one. We'll be following along. Stay tuned for Everest.Live.